very good evening and welcome to Beyond the Headlines. I'm Tamanna Inamdar. AG Perarivalan, convicted for the assassination of former Prime Minister Rajiv Gandhi, walked out of prison today after 31 years. On his release, Mr. Perarivalan said, "I can finally breathe." The man who stopped the breath of the former Prime Minister of the country in what was one of the biggest turning points in Indian history was given this chance to breathe free by the highest court of the land. The top court cited Article 142 of the Constitution that provides extraordinary power to the Supreme Court to do complete justice to litigants who have suffered injustice during proceedings. Perarivalan is one of 7 who were convicted for the assassination of Mr. Rajiv Gandhi, who was blown up by suicide bombers of the LTTE in the middle of an election rally. Perarivalan was 19 then, and the key accusation against him was that he procured 2 9-volt batteries. He's always claimed and maintained that claim that he had no idea what those batteries were for. He was convicted after a long trial and has been serving a life sentence for over 30 years. The court has freed him today because of 3 major reasons, and it's important to understand this. I'm simplifying and breaking this down. Firstly, because of inexplicable delay in process. Now, Perarivalan first went to the Tamil Nadu governor with his mercy petition in 2015. The Tamil Nadu state cabinet okayed the plea in 2018, but there was no movement since then. Secondly, there was no argument presented by the centre to challenge the Tamil Nadu state cabinet's decision to actually free him. And thirdly, and this is what the court has also banked upon, the state has the right to decide on matters pertaining to Section 302 of the IPC, which is essentially punishment for murder. The broad consideration is also the 31 years this man has spent behind bars, 16 of which were on death row and 29 in solitary confinement. Now, how would a nation respond to the freeing of a convict charged with killing a prime minister and others around him? The views today are divided. The Congress party says they're deeply pained by the verdict and have blamed the central government for no clear replies in the case, and that, they believe, eased the way to freeing him. Meanwhile, the ruling DMK and several other parties in Tamil Nadu have celebrated the decision. In fact, Tamil Nadu Chief Minister M.K. Stalin even went to meet Perarivalan on his release. What we will try to understand here is why the divided views on this issue. Is it essentially the delay in legal process that has led to this release? And today, has justice been done? To speak on this, I'm joined now by A. Saravanan, spokesperson of the DMK, and Advocate Vijay Dharani, leader of the Congress, is also with us on the show. Welcome to both of you, and thank you for speaking with us on Beyond the Headlines, where we try and delve into the issue and understand it in a deeper fashion. Mr. Saravanan, can you explain to us, firstly, why there is a celebration and why there is a welcoming of the release of someone who has been convicted for the assassination of a prime minister? Can you give us some context to this?
Yes. See, with regard to Mr. Perarivalan, as you pointed out, he has been inside the prison for the last almost more than 30 years. And life imprisonment, he was originally sentenced to death, and subsequently it was commuted, and he was commuted for life imprisonment, and this has been going on. And it is also not out of place to point out that Mr. Tyagarajan, one of the investigating officers who recorded the statement of Perarivalan, has filed an affidavit in the Supreme Court that he intentionally miswrote the statement. He said he imputed intention to Perarivalan's buying of the battery so that he could be booked under TADA. So this is one of the reasons. Of course, there is no one talking about the innocence or guilt here, but this is one of the circumstances on which Perarivalan was relying upon. See, this is one thing.
Mr. Saravanan, if I can repose the question, I'm not asking about the merits of the case because the Supreme Court has decided that, right? He has been convicted, so there's no question of innocence or guilt.
No doubt about that. No doubt about that.
I'm trying to understand the context, the political and cultural context, which causes the political parties of the state of Tamil Nadu to welcome this. He has, after all, been convicted of assassinating a prime minister of the country. I want to understand that.
Yeah. See, the other thing is that 10 years they were in death row. They wouldn't know whether tomorrow they are going to be alive, or the day after that they are going to be alive. That is one of the important reasons. The question is, what more torture can you inflict upon a human being? See, you convict somebody, you say you are awarded death sentence, you hang them. There ends the problem. But 10 years, you have put them on unbearable torture. So this is the maximum kind of torture we can inflict on any other human being.
Okay.
So that is one of the important reasons why this decision, or why this has happened.
I'm going to come to Advocate Vijay Dharani in just a bit, but I must cross-question you on that last point. If the concern is about human rights of convicts facing life sentence, I don't really see any visible concern for other people facing similar sentences and languishing in jails across the country for many, many years in other cases. Why this particular case?
See, that is because all of them, their sentences would be remitted after 14 years. If someone is sent to life imprisonment, after 14 years, they'll be automatically released. When his sentence is commuted to life imprisonment, he has spent more than 30 years. That is the concern. And let me point this will not be out of context, that Gopal Vinayak Godse, one of the killers of Mahatma Gandhi, the father of the nation, was released of jail. He was convicted by all the courts, similar like that of Perarivalan, and he was released after 20 years in prison. So we have precedents.
Okay.
This is another important aspect.
Okay, let me bring Advocate Vijay Dharani in to understand what the political dimension to it and why there is a controversy and division of views over this issue. Today, the Congress party is blaming the central government, but you're not holding to question the DMK, who you've allied with.
Big development of the day today.
Yes, Ms. Dharani.
Perarivalan was one of the key conspirators.
Can you hear me, Ms. Dharani?
Tamanna, yeah, I can hear you.
Yes, please go ahead.
See, now I'm a third-time legislator in the Tamil Nadu Assembly, and every time when a resolution comes up on this issue of releasing the 7 convicts of our respected leader and the former Prime Minister, Sri Rajiv Gandhi ji, we have walked out and shown our protest in the Assembly itself. We are very clear that in this issue, we will not cooperate with either the DMK or the ADMK. It is concerning our leader and it is concerning the Prime Minister of this country. There is no compromise on these issues. But however, the court has not let out these people that they are innocent. They are convicts even today. Only on the delay aspect, they have been let out now. This Perarivalan is let out now, and some things are spoken about Justice K.T. Thomas and the investigating officer, Tyagarajan, and everybody. I'm not sure, nobody can go back on this and find out. After they retire, they come and tell all these stories outside and try to say that they are innocent and all those. In Gopal Godse case, Saravanan should understand one thing. Godse was hanged to death. And the conspirator, Gopal Godse, was, after the life sentence was let out. That was a defined life sentence given there. But here is a case, an undefined life sentence, and first time mercy was given, reducing the sentence from the death row to life. And a second time reduction of sentence is being requested, which is nowhere in law permitted actually. But despite that, on a mercy petition, they are coming over to the governor, and the governor has really helped these people, helped Perarivalan. I strongly feel that the governor has helped them by keeping it pending and allowing the Supreme Court to decide on this issue. Had he taken a decision, then they have to go on with another mercy petition if he had rejected it. He has kept it pending, and I think Perarivalan should thank the governor first, and then the President of India. And then, of course, he is thanking the DMK. He is thanking the ADMK. He is thanking everybody on the earth. Maybe if he had a case and he is innocent, he would have proved it much earlier. But that is different.
No, but innocence is not the question.
Case, as you said, Tamanna.
Yeah, because innocence is not even in question.
It's not the question.
Yes, the question is that should he walk out because he has spent 31 years behind bars and because the legal process has failed him? That's the essential argument today, isn't it? That the legal process failed him. If he was sentenced to death, he was not hanged. You know, he was kept waiting.
See, now,
yes, your response to that point.
Actually, See now, insofar as the death sentence is concerned, they were. It was due to various multifarious petitions filed by the convicts to challenging the case to the up to the apex court, and then those days of languishing in jail is for death sentence. Then the mercy petition came up of everybody and one-time reduction was given. And even as per the criminal laws of the land and the constitution, a second-time reduction of sentence is not seen anywhere in India in earlier, there are no precedents. But however, here is a case where they have languished in jail for several number of years. We do understand all these things. I have, insofar as so many number of years, definitely the court would have considered those things also to let them on, to free them.
Yes.
Free particularly Perarivalan. Maybe the others who are in, now 6 people are, rest of the people are there. Out of them, there are 3 or 4 Sri Lankans who have come to India. They have planned the murder.
Let me get Mr. Saravanan in on
and
this.
And rest of the 2 who are in...
Yes. So,
and all these things go to say very clearly whether these people are innocent or whether they could claim anything like that. And now the release, every people are starting to talk. All these parties who are supporting are starting to talk that they are as if not convicts, they are heroes. This is totally wrong.
Now, can you respond to that, Mr. Saravanan?
Is being killed, and should they give a hero figure? All these parties should give a hero figure.
Okay, on that point, should they be treated as heroes? Nobody has said they're innocent. The top court has not said they're innocent. This man has been let go because of a lapse of judicial process or the whole legal process, and no movement was made on it. And those are the grounds that we've explained in the introduction to this show. What Vijay Dharani's point is that why are they being given a hero's welcome? And I want to just play out those visuals today of the Tamil Nadu Chief Minister meeting, Mr. Perarivalan, the kind of joy which was shown. Do you think that that is apt, Mr. Saravanan? You're giving a hero's welcome to a man convicted of assassinating a former Indian Prime Minister.
See, this is not a hero's welcome. See, this is defining. This is not just about the release of Perarivalan. This defines so many other things. This defines the center-state relationship. This defines how the governor has been acting in a very strange fashion, throwing constitutional morality to the winds. So many other things are also there. We have been pointing out, this is one of our poll promises, that we will be able to release these prisoners, and the ADMK government, the previous ADMK government has also filed a resolution and sent it to the governor. So there are various other aspects to it. There is definitely no hero's welcome.
Explain to me this aspect, Mr. Saravanan. I started the discussion with this question to you because not everyone might understand why in Tamil politics this has become such a big issue. Why is this a poll promise for DMK and AIADMK? Why do you think this resonates with the people of Tamil Nadu?
See, because that is what I'm saying. See, when we speak of a life imprisonment, they'll be inside the prison for 14 years. And these people have been there for almost 30 years. But why just these people,
sir? There are people undergoing life imprisonment across the country in different states as well.
Yes, Tamanna. That's what I'm saying. Anybody else is convicted for life imprisonment, they'll be outside the prison after 14 years, unless their terms are specified. For now, their terms are being specified, so that is a different thing. So that is the main thing. And of course, I can understand the dilemma or understand the anguish of Vijay Dharani, because if I had been in Congress, even I would feel the same. I can never digest someone the assassin of my leader. But look at how Madam Sonia Gandhi No, just a moment.
No, but is it the leader or is it the Prime Minister?
I have a point there.
I understand that. I understand that. Let me also point out
Tamanna,
that
I have
Madam
a point
Sonia
here.
Yes, I'll come to you, Vijay Dharani. I'll come to you one by one.
Yeah. Madam Sonia Gandhi, Madam Priyanka Gandhi, and Mr. Rahul Gandhi had showed great magnanimity in forgiving them and said, we are past. And let us not forget
They are not the court. They are not the law, sir.
They're not the court.
Okay, one second. Vijay Dharani wants to respond. Vijay Dharani wants to respond. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, Saravanan, I have a question. You can add and answer that.
Yes, please.
Rahul ji, Priyanka ji and Sonia ji have definitely pardoned them, but Rahul ji specifically came out and said that he is pardoning even though he has lost his father. He has pardoned them. He has, with great magnanimity, he even expressed his views. And Vijay Dharani, a third-time MLA and an advocate, I am also, even today, with my mother being a victim of these circumstances, she's been in the spot. And she was a Congress worker then and a gynecologist. And she was, even today, she is suffering the damage. And we had surgeries done her in her intestine many times. And even she's a live victim even today. And even I have pardoned all these people. Can these people, all the 17 people who died along with Rajiv ji, all these police personnel who have died, and all the children of the Congress workers who have died, and Mahila Congress women, Samtan Begum, she died just next to my mom. And all these families, their children, they are in poverty. They don't even have anything now.
Let him respond, Saravanan. Wrap your question, ma'am, and let him respond.
They have, and did you, 1 minute, did anybody ask for their pardon? Did any of the media go to these people, find out what they are doing? Did human rights go to them?
Okay. Mr. Saravanan, your response. Just one quick response on this, please.
Went to these people and found out what they are doing.
We heard you, ma'am. Let him respond now. Let him respond. We heard you. He has heard you. And the point is, it's not about just the Congress party. We have got representatives about the Congress and the DMK, but this was an assassination of a former elected prime minister. The conviction was handed out by the courts, and the release is also handed down by the courts. We're trying to understand the context of why the celebration on one side and condemnation on the other. That's what we're trying to explain to our viewers. So can you please respond to her questions? It's not whether the Gandhi family pardons this man or others or not. It is the law of the land.
Yeah, see, that is what I'm saying. This is not about just pardoning. I'm just trying to point out how magnanimous they were. I think at this juncture, their magnanimity should be on display. We should respect that magnanimity. That is my limited point. And as I'm again telling you, if I have been in Congress, definitely I would echo what Madam Vijay Dharani is saying. Nobody can ever forgive their leader's thing. Family members
but he was Prime Minister of the country, not of Congress.
That is what I understand that. That is why I drew parallels with the killing of Mahatma Gandhi. Here also they are conspirators. Exactly. They are similarly placed with that of Gopal Vinayak Godse. No doubt about that. That is what I'm saying.
Saravanan, in that case, Tamanna, 1 minute. Saravanan, in this case, 1 minute. Saravanan, 1 minute. In the case what you are referring, Godse was hanged, and only the conspirator Gopal Godse was let out. Here in the 7 people, any one has been hanged. Anyone has been hanged. Nobody.
All right, I will wrap this here. And I will thank Mr. Saravanan and Vijay Dharani for joining us and at least conducting the first half of this discussion in a calm, orderly manner. I think it's important for people to understand what has happened here. The court has made its decision. Now, the question is whether the other 6 will also be released on these grounds. One wonders why this is a political issue, and hopefully this discussion has helped explain that and the various kind of reactions coming in today. In fact, I want to play out for you some of those reactions today.
No, it's a very important verdict. we are all very happy that after a long struggle, Perarivalan has been released, and the Tamil Nadu government has been insisting that they should be released, and it is a big victory, just not for Perarivalan, but also for his mother, who is relentlessly been fighting for it. And the Tamil Nadu Chief Minister has made his stand very clear. It was the Tamil Nadu Assembly which passed the resolution. So we welcome it.
मोदी जी, कांग्रेस और भाजपा छोड़िए, क्या यही आपका राष्ट्रवाद है? क्योंकि ये कांग्रेस के नेता का सवाल नहीं, इस देश के प्रधानमंत्री थे श्री राजीव गांधी, जिन्होंने इस देश के लिए कुर्बानी दी थी। राजीव जी ने कांग्रेस नहीं, देश के लिए कुर्बानी दी थी। और अगर उनके हत्यारों को आज की सरकार अपनी छोटी और सस्ती राजनीति के लिए रिहा करवाने में को अदालत को हालात पैदा कर देगी, तो ये अपने आप में अति दुर्भाग्यपूर्ण है, निंदनीय है, और हम इसकी कड़े से कड़े शब्दों में निंदा करते हैं।
Firstly, our party, the Communist Party of India, welcomes this order. We have been pleading for his release for several years. He has spent in prison more than 30 years. That is more than the period of convict who has life sentence. On humanitarian grounds, he must be released.
And we also spoke today with Mr. D.R. Karthiken. He's a former CBI director and was the head of the special investigating team which took over the case once the assassination took place in 1991. He spoke with us today and explained how the events unfolded leading to the final conviction.
I must take you back to the day of the unfortunate dastardly assassination, 21st May 1991. Very next day, I was in my office in Hyderabad. I got a call from Delhi. First, the DG of the Central Reserve Police Force, Mr. KPS Gill, he was my DG. I was in the Central Reserve Police Force at that time. I was IG in charge of Southern Sector in Hyderabad. Followed by call from the then Director CBI. He said, it is a case in which neither the IB nor the CBI, nor the RAW or NAW had any clue as to who could have done this and why. I think that was the morning meeting at the Cabinet Secretary's office. So I was called to say that the government is keen, there should be an investigation. So the then Director CBI said maybe it will end up like Kennedy assassination because there is no clue from either of the intelligence agencies. It may end up like Kennedy assassination